Hello everybody, and welcome to another Kev Play. This is Kevin, and we are on part 20 of Spyro Reignited Trilogy, part 10 of Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage of that trilogy. Last time we took on Skelos Badlands, we got through, we're in Zephyr. Zephyr might be one of the more expansive levels in the game. Definitely of Autumn Plains. Anyway, let's get into it. We're still here with our Calyx. We got 5. We got 2 more to find, though.
There are 2 more Calyx out there somewhere, but I haven't seen them in days.
Alright, let's do it. Now, they are going to be this way. Hopefully there's a caterpillar around here somewhere. Is there not? There he is, in the grass. Just gotta burn them to a crisp, and you're good. Who's this?
What light from yonder window breaks? That window up there, dummy! The professor said he was working on a way to help me get back with Juliet, but I haven't seen him in a long time.
I could have sworn he said, I haven't seen them in days. Oh, no, that's the Calic guy. Okay, cool. Okay. Just, I'm getting a little... It seems a lot of people just haven't seen each other in a long time. So I guess they had to change up the wordplay back in the day, you know. Makes sense. It's what I do when I write. Private Romeo. Find the professor. This is definitely one of the more involved missions.
What light from yonder window breaks? That window up there, dummy!
You told me. Okay. I always like this one. It's like a nice little puzzle while you're already in the middle of a mission from over here with the Calyx. So over here you're gonna find the Calyx, but then there's a whole nother thing to do over here that's just like very involved. I always liked how they did this. Because you can get distracted. It's like one of those things where it's like, oh, you know, I'm trying to just do the Calic mission, but I'm getting distracted with what's over here. I'm kind of getting drawn into this. That's something that happens to a lot in like open world games with like side quests or like side exploration stuff or whatever. So to see it happen in Spyro, this is like kind of like one of the first moments where it's like that. I mean, I'm sure there were moments that we passed before, but this is like one of the more definite moments where it's like, it's hard not to get sucked into what's going on over here. Because it's a whole nother, like, part of the level now. But yeah. Here's one of our Calyx. Maybe I won't get too sucked in at first. Maybe I'll try to get this Calic over. And this is kind of where you need to learn that there's a difference between flaming a Calic and charging a Calic, because you'll actually get a little bit more distance, I think, if you charge them. I don't think flaming garners the same effect. Although it certainly feels like it. I know a lot of people can get hung up on this one, because they'll just keep flaming over and over, and then he doesn't make the gap. Let's see if I can make him. Oh, okay. For a second, I thought he got caught on the wall there. Let's get this guy safe before... That's another thing that people do, is they get this Calic over, and they're like, okay, he's safe there, he's not going to be coming down. So you go find the other Calic, and then this Calic ends up blocking you from getting the other one over. Which, again, you know, just wastes more time. But I've played these games long enough to know these mistakes, even like to this day. Like these mistakes, like these little like common knowledge stuff. It's not even in my head on a conscious level in my life. But as soon as I play this game again, it all comes back to me, and I always remember it. I guess there's a trauma there that you just need to avoid. Whoa, that, He's in, but he's on the fence. Let's see if I can get him off. It's kind of stuck on this fence here. This did not happen in the PS1 version. They would either get booted out of the pen if someone was blocking them, or they would make it in. There was never any of this in-between glitching stuff, but as long as it says 6 out of 7, I'm happy. He wants to be on the fence, let him stay on the fence. Oh, here's some gems I missed. The grass in this level is a little taller. Well, I mean, the grass in PS1 was flat, was just a flat texture, green texture. But yeah, the grass is definitely a lot taller, and the gems definitely are more hidden. Luckily, we just come across that stuff. So what's been the news? There's been two things that I'd say that have been kind of making the rounds in this past week. I guess one of the first ones is Bloomberg, Jason Schreier, reporting that this Jim Ryan email, Jim Ryan being the CEO of PlayStation, where he sent an email to his staff telling them to, you know, in light of what's been going on with Roe vs. Wade and like the whole abortion issue, to just for the people within the company to just respect each other's opinions. You know, I guess whether you're pro-life, pro-choice, whatever. Seems like a reasonable thing to say, but yeah, the way this article was presented, or at least how they presented this email was, well, for one, they didn't even show the full email, so you don't really get the full context. But one of the things that comes off kind of tone-deaf is how Jim Ryan talks about his dogs and his cats, and you need to be... And, like, how, you know, his pets... He wants to get a new dog, and, like, you know... The good thing about pets is they know their place and stuff like that. And people were getting this all mixed up, saying... you know, or interpreting that perhaps he's trying to make some kind of analogy with, like, women and how they need to know their place or something, which, you know, obviously is a bad take. But I think it was just him having a... Like, see, this is the thing. We don't know the nature of the email. We don't have the full email. We don't know whether it was a chain, like an email chain, where he was addressing two things that somehow got into the discussion. We don't know that. We don't know that how he wrote it, the execution, anything. Does it seem a little silly? Maybe, but this guy runs a whole entire company of all of Sony PlayStation. I don't think he was planning. Like, I know people can get really heated over this topic, so maybe obviously it's gonna leak out by somebody who probably just thought it was, like, you know, in bad taste. But for me, all he's saying is respect one another's opinion. He's not taking a stance. He's not trying to silence them. He's not trying to say that don't you know, that you're not allowed to have any political discourse within the company. He's just saying, let's keep it civil.
Well, I am impressed. You got all 7 cowlicks for me. Here's a fair reward.
All 7 cowlicks in. Beautiful. Oh, another guy got off the fence. I don't know how he did it, but he did. I always like getting all 7 cowlicks in, because then you can kind of just play with them. And back in the day when there was nothing else, when you were a kid and you didn't have a job and there was nothing else to do, like, you can spend an hour or two just hanging out in the pen with the cowlicks. Anyway. So yeah, Jim Ryan, he sent this thing. I think, honestly, if you're going to make a tweet and publish an article, and I'm talking to you, Jason Schreier, if you're going to do that, you can't go half-cocked when you're gonna just drag someone's reputation through the mud and make them come off like a tone-deaf asshole. If you're gonna do that, you need to show the full email. Otherwise, it's what we call in journalism useless reporting. It's not good reporting. You're taking snippets for the internet to get their grubby hands on and make whatever they will of it. And don't get me wrong, I don't really care for Jim Ryan. I think, like, I know he's like very corporate. He's a corporate suit. He seems very detached from video games in general. But I'm not gonna use that bias to fuel my to fuel the narrative of, oh yeah, you know, Jim Ryan's he's such a suit. He's so unlikable. Oh, this is perfect. Let's take snippets of what he said in the email and make him look like an even more detached piece of crap. I'm not going to feed into that. And I know that Jason Schreier published that article without publishing the full email, knowing that he would get a rise out of people and get more word of mouth going. But I honestly, I bet if you got the full email, it wouldn't have been as big a deal. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe if we got the full email, there would be more. We would have more context to look at, and we can make up our own mind of that. It's definitely, you know, clear cut that Jim Ryan sent a very tone deaf email or whatever. But you know what? You never gave us that chance, and you're trying to sway the narrative and public opinion with how you present it. It's not Jason Schreier is a very good journalist. He's good with research. He's good with that. But the way he goes about things, the way he carries himself, the way he the way he cherry picks when something's worth what part of something's worth reporting, what's not. It's just like I can't respect him. I just feel like it's sloppy, and it just makes Jason Schreier look like a schmuck. And that's just my opinion on that. Hey, Pulpit Pig, how are you?
Spyro, my boy, I've got a magic bean, seed for you in here somewhere. Ah, here it is. Why don't you plant it in the ground and see what grows?
It's always interesting when you see a main character from Spyro 2 randomly in a level. Like, I don't know if you see Allura too much in like these side levels, or not side levels, but actual levels. You see her more in the homeworld, right? Hunter you'll see out in the field in levels, but in the Professor you'll see. But I don't think Allura really makes her way over here. What are you rambling on about? I was talking about the Jim Ryan email, which I think was blown out of proportion, the way it was reported. Press the triangle button to aim the seed. But another thing that's going on in the news is Xbox has been kind of the subject of a lot of criticism lately, especially with the delay of Starfield and Redfall. Oh god. Is there a way I can... Oh, you know what? I probably have to get the seed on the other side here first. Yeah, so as of right now, there's no like AAA games coming out for Xbox for 2022, since Redfall and Starfield were delayed till 2023. Unless there's something in the Xbox like showcase that's supposed to be coming up in June. There's really nothing on the horizon. So now there's a whole brouhaha going on the internet, or within the community, like the video game community, that like, you know, Game Pass isn't really worth it right now. Because it's all indies and everyone's going all crazy. Bro, Halo Infinite, what's going on with that? I mean, I don't know much about what's going on with Halo Infinite, other than I know it's I know it's a good game at its core, but I know that it's lacking content, and they need to. A lot of like Halo fans are kind of like, you know, wondering when they're gonna get like basic multiplayer features and stuff like that. Honestly, Halo Infinite, if I had an Xbox, that would be my game. I'd be like kind of like, you know, making the best out of for the remainder of the year. Even if the features are down, at least it has a nice campaign from what I hear, and the multiplayer at least is serviceable. But yeah, a lot of people are kind of like up in arms over Game Pass, and I kind of don't blame them. I mean, I know PS Plus, like the new tiers are kind of getting criticism too. Like apparently, like in Asia, like you're getting charged more if you got a discount originally. Like you'll get charged more in the long term if you got a discount, which is kind of like Sony kind of being kind of conniving and anti-consumer a bit. But you know what? The only reason I have PS Plus is to stream and to play online games. If it wasn't connected to PS Plus, I wouldn't even have it. I don't use any of the free games that they offer because I like to have my games be the ones that I purchase. You know, like the ones I actually chose to purchase. I'm willing to pay for physical games, and I'm a big physical guy, so Game Pass, PS Plus, or whatever they're calling it, it's just another world that I'm not really... It doesn't pertain to me. I can see how it can pertain to others, but for me, just, you know, it's not really something that I'm gonna go crazy about. Yeah, I heard about the Asia thing, yeah. I know a lot of people are starting to unsub from Game Pass, which is like, you know, it's understandable. It's not like they're saying that they're not going to be returning once some games show up for Xbox, but I don't know why people are so up in arms that it's like, oh, they're unsubbing. Well, that's their choice. If there's no games that they want to play, then you can't force. You can't just like get mad that someone wants to unsubscribe from a service. Jim Ryan is an idiot, but I just think, like, if you're gonna publish an article about him writing this email that's supposed to be tone deaf, then you gotta show the whole email. You can't just post snippets when it comes to a man's reputation like that. I know he's like a very unlikable CEO. He's very detached from the video game community. He's a very corporate suit guy, but you got to report it. Like, if you're going to come out that, oh, there's an email that leaked and I mean, all he really did was say, like, to respect one another's opinion with, you know, because whether it got through like the HR department that like there was a lot of like conflict going on within the company over like political discourse over the whole Roe versus Wade thing, then that's a very standard email to put out. It's just he's not saying like don't be political or don't have an opinion. He's just saying respect one another's opinion, you know? Obviously, like, you know, it's a very ridiculous thing what's going on right now, but it's just a very standard email. And yeah, him talking about his pets is kind of silly and kind of a little unnecessary, maybe a little tone deaf, but we don't have the full email. We don't know the context of you know what the email really is and whether it was part of like an email chain or something. It just to me it's just bad reporting that if you're gonna take a stand against him, you don't just publish snippets of the email and let the internet just like, you know, it's like dropping blood in a tank full of sharks. You know the internet's gonna run wild with that. I don't know. I just think it's cheap, and it's. I think Jason Schreier needs to get his act together a little bit when it comes. He's a good journalist, but Sometimes he cherry picks the way he reports things. I think I should just store the seed here. By the way, there are PS1 games coming to the PS Store. I heard about that, and I heard there's gonna be trophy support, with like the new PS Plus service or whatever, which I think is cool. Did I talk to him?
Well done, my boy. Here are 2 more seeds to get you the rest of the way. Oh, and take this with you if you don't mind. It's been cluttering up my pockets. Misplaced your seeds, have you? I can make all the plants shrink again if you'd like to start over.
I do not want to start over.
Off you go, then.
Okay. So, how did I get seeds without talking to him first? Didn't he say he was gonna give me more seeds? Or were the seeds just already here? I don't know. And here we are. Puzzle complete.
Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? Oh, there's Romeo. You can have this. I don't need it anymore.
Oh, in the original PS1 version of this, Juliet had like the dumbest voice, like a comically, like intentional voice that was just like, "Oh Romeo, Romeo, where art thou, Romeo?" Like it was like that, like very like it was supposed to be a joke, but I don't know why they didn't include that. That's like kind of like that was kind of like the funniest thing back in PS1, but like I don't know. I never understand the artistic liberties that are taken with these remakes, but you know, whatever, as long as the game plays well. It's always gotta be about the gameplay. Yep. It makes me wonder if the devs actually really paid attention to like the voice acting in the original game, or did they just take their own liberty? Because sometimes it feels spot on, and sometimes it just feels like they just wanted to change it completely.
How I've missed my Romeo. If he wasn't so short, we'd get married.
You reunited me with Juliet! Oh, now we can take our honeymoon in Idle Springs!
How I've missed my
Yeah, that's
Romeo.
true.
If he wasn't so short, we'd get...
Did I get all the gems here? Oh, I'm missing 10. It's gotta be over here somewhere. This grass is very, it hides the gems very well. Not seeing it here. I suppose while I look, I'll start talking about my 2007 Game of the Year. In which, like I said last time, this is when the PS2 was on its way out. Games weren't really delivering in terms of quality. The PS3 was becoming more of a thing. I did not have the PS3 for a long time because of how expensive it was. I came to the PS3 generation pretty late and had to play catch up. But I do have PS3 games to talk about that I got later on that came out in this year. I won't spoil what I said last time then in terms of what games I mentioned or what or what my game of the year was. But yeah, so for this one, I guess we'll start it off with there's 4 games here to talk about. One of the first games is a game that I didn't have until I didn't get the chance to play this until the PS4 generation, and it's only because it came bundled with another game that came out later on, and that is well, it didn't come bundled, it came kind of included, I guess, and that's Call of Duty Modern Warfare, which is like back in 2007. That was like one of like that's when Call of Duty was kind of in its heyday. Like a lot of people look fondly on this game. It's like considered one of the classic Call of Duty games, and I remember that. I remember that like the buzz of that when it first came out, like when Call of Duty was really at its peak, and how people were, even like people I knew who were always playing Halo, they were kind of getting drawn into Call of Duty a little bit more. And this one was good. It has a nice campaign. It has a very very down-to-earth campaign, I'd say. I think one of like your like commanding officer or whatever is kind of like this interesting what do you call it? Kind of like this has like a big burly mustache, and like he's kind of a beloved character, I think, within the Call of Duty like fan base. But that's all I really remember from it. It plays good. It's a little dated compared to other Call of Duty games that would come later that I was more in tune with. But it was good, and the multiplayer was fun, and it was interesting to play a game like that to see what all the hubbub was about when it first came out, because it does, even though like Call of Duty in general for me kind of feels on rails compared to other first-person shooters, you could see that there's kind of a novelty to this game in specifically in how it presents itself, how it presents its campaign to you. Each level feels like it's like a creative designer's like, you know, kind of like dream of a dream scenario, like war scenario, to like kind of design and have a player play. So I thought it was good. I'm looking. I already know what your game of the year is. Oh, for 2007, maybe. We'll see. But yeah, that was Call of Duty Modern Warfare. It came. I got that as a kind of like a digital download, but I did play enough of it. With the game that I actually purchased it with, yeah, I played enough of it. Like, let's just put it this way: if I get like 30% trophies on a Call of Duty game, then I played, like, there's something to it that made me play it for as long as I did. That's worth something. So that's pretty much all I can give it for now. But yeah, again, I didn't grow up with this game, so I feel like I don't have like the nostalgia people have for it that a lot of people will like go to bat for with this game. But yeah, it's a good game. The next game I'd say is now this is a game I remember it came out for the PS2 and PS3, but I always preferred to wait until I can get it for PS3, and I didn't get it till like kind of later on. Even after like I got a lot of my must-play PS3 games out of the way when playing catch-up. This game was like one of the last games I got, and I don't know why I waited so long, but I think one of the reasons, and I guess I'll just say what the game is. Excuse me. Is the Simpsons game, 2007's The Simpsons game, which came out the same year as the Simpsons movie, and the same year as season 18 ended and season 19 started. So this game, I remember I stayed away from it for a while because I knew that through reviews that it wasn't the same as Hit and Run. Like, after you have Simpsons Hit and Run, it's kind of hard to top that. But it's very hard to top that. But at the same time, and the Simpsons game is not. It's not like Hit and Run. It's a totally different genre of a game. It's more of like a platformer, more of a platformer, story-driven, linear type game. But every level is kind of like a different thing. But it's one of those games that it's good, not great. And I think one of the reasons is it's kind of stiff in its controls. The controls can kind of vary depending on what you're like around here somewhere, right? It parodies Call of Duty. It parodies, I think, Guitar Hero, or like one of those like the rhythm games. It parodies. Oh God, I hope my internet doesn't crap out. Parodies a lot of stuff that are. I know Frogger becomes a thing, and I think World of Warcraft and stuff like that. Yeah, Medal of Honor. That was Medal of Homer is what the level was called. Where the hell is this gem? But yeah, it's a good game. What I like about it over anything else is that it's a split-screen co-op game. I think it was even online co-op at one point, before they took the servers down. Or was it? I'm not sure. I know it has like a high score feature that goes online. But one of the cool things is that it's offline. It has a two-player split-screen co-op where you can play the story, like the whole campaign. And that's always a big thing. One of the things too is that this is the last console Simpsons game. That was a big draw to me. It's like, I think after the Simpsons game, they came out with 2011's Tapped Out, Simpsons Tapped Out, which was a mobile game, kind of like a freemium game, which I did play, by the way, because I'm a Simpsons fan. Not that I spent any money on it or anything, but not that I spent money in terms of yeah, it was a free download, but I didn't spend money on like getting accessories or anything. Like I didn't get drawn into that like terrible web that a lot of people get mixed up in. But yeah, it's kind of a shame because EA acquired the rights to The Simpsons since the Simpsons game. When it was Simpsons Hit and Run, which was the previous game, it was owned by Radical Entertainment, and Vivendi Universal, I think, as the publisher. Okay, I might as well just use Sparks, because I can't find this damn gem. How do I use Sparks? I don't know. I'm trying to find this damn gem. But, what was I gonna say? Yeah, the Simpsons game is a good game, but it's a little stiff in its controls and points. And the comedy, like the writing, it's written by like the writers of the show. But you have to understand, like, when the movie was in production and they're trying to get like 20, I think it was like 22 episodes for season 18. And then they had to worry about season 19 coming up. Like, I feel like they were spread thin in terms of the creative juice that they had. So the Simpsons game, while it's very meta, it has a lot of meta humor that's kind of funny. a lot of the humor compared to say Simpsons Hit and Run just does not match, does not hold up well at all. Like it can come off kind of lame. Like 2007 Simpsons wasn't really the greatest era for the show, but you know what? It's the Simpsons. I'll always love that universe. And EA ain't doing anything with the IP. Oh, no, I know. That's the thing. As long as they can make money... Like, I don't know if they're still supporting Simpsons Tapped Out, but as long as they can find games that make them money through, like, live service or whatever, or, you know, just whatever cheap way they can make a buck, that's really all they care about. They don't really care about making games. The only thing that is good with EA is that, like, are like the Joseph Fares games, that the co-op games that he makes for PS4. Like, I think that's part of like EA's like kind of like creative or EA Originals, I think they call it, where it's like original content other than like sports games and Star Wars and stuff like that. But yeah, Simpsons game is good. I enjoyed it. I wish it had a trophy support, because there's a lot of stuff to do in that game. There's a lot of collecting to do, and it kind of gets a little discouraging, I'd say, when it's not really counting. Like when you really don't have anything to show for it. That's the thing with trophies, is that I know it's going for trophies can be more of a meta game, and it kind of like takes away from the actual game, where it's like, well, why don't you just enjoy the game for the actual game instead of trying to play the meta game? Well, for me, like the meta game kind of enhances the original game, and when like the game with like a Simpsons game where the exploration can get kind of stale after a while, you need something like a trophy support to kind of keep me playing, you know. But yeah, Simpsons game is good. I definitely would prefer it over Call of Duty, any Call of Duty, honestly. But we're not done yet. What the hell is the Sparks thing to get gems? Because I can't find this damn 10-piece. Anyway, on to my next game. Now this is a game that I definitely... I remember picking this up in Best Buy. I actually picked up all three. And this first game was really what drew me into the series, obviously. But it's Uncharted Drake's Fortune, which was like one of like the, you know, one of the early, basically Naughty Dog taking a stab at a completely different genre after Jak and Daxter. Oh, you know what? Is there a balloon that's up in the air that I haven't like popped yet? Maybe that's what it is. But yeah, Uncharted Drake's Fortune, it's very... One of the most important things about that game are the characters. Nathan Drake, Elena Fisher, Sully, and just the camaraderie and the chemistry and how they play off each other. That's one of the most important things that really draws you into that whole series. Is how characters, whether they're the mainstays or the side characters, how they play off each other in that kind of chemistry. It's very, it's really what draws you in. It's really, one of the strong suits of the game. Because, other than that, Uncharted Drake's Fortune, it has great gunplay, but if you play it now, it is a little dated. I haven't played, like, the remastered versions, but, Uncharted Drake's Fortune, it's very dated, not just in how it plays. I mean, it's a pretty generic, basic cover shooter, but Just also how it's like waves and waves of enemies constantly. What the hell is this damn gem? I wish I had Nathan Drake right now to help me find this damn gem, because I don't know how to use sparks for some reason. I thought it was all the shoulder buttons. I don't know. But yeah, the waves and waves of enemies can get a little daunting. But you know what? I have a lot of fun with this game. I have a soft spot for how you're on the island constantly throughout the entire game. You're on the same like island, like kind of like this like no-named island, I guess. Click the stick. Oh, that's what it is, right? Okay, he's pointing this way. It's got to be in the air, right? I think that's what I... Oh, it's up here, is it? Did the gem fall through the level again? Alright, we're gonna find it right now. And by the way, I don't mind using sparks for Spyro 2 because it's how the game was intended. Where the hell is it? I'm confused. Oh, maybe it's on, like, the other part of the... No, because it keeps pointing this way. What the hell's happening here? This must be a glitch. Because I don't usually have a trouble with finding gems on this level at all. Maybe it's on the other side somewhere. Let me see. Like, maybe the level, like, wraps around somehow. Oh yeah, this level is definitely glitched. Happened to me before. Yeah, that's probably what it is, right? I'm probably just gonna move on, and then maybe if I come back into the level, it will, like, reset for me. Hopefully it's not, like, saved and I'm just screwed forever. Oh, no. But yeah, back to Uncharted. Excellent game. One of my favorite Naughty Dog. I mean, Naughty Dog just keeps delivering all the time, and this was really a great first game for them into the series. It's always a risk to change your IP when your last IP is just gaining traction and becoming successful. But Uncharted 1, Drake's Fortune, excellent game, I'd say. It's just disappointing when glitches happen in a stream like this. It's just, yeah, I mean, like how, it's one thing that we haven't had a new Spyro game in a while. I mean, I hope we get an announcement at some point of something in Summer Game Fest. It sounds like Summer Game Fest is gonna pack a punch.
Well done, Spyro. Now that you have all 14 talismans, your guidebook can break the lock on the door, and you can fight Go. Are you ready?
I'm not.
Okay. Come back whenever you're ready.
I'm not ready until I get the Zephyr gem. And thanks for warping me all the way to the other side of the world. But yeah, what was I saying? It's just disappointing. We haven't had a new Spyro game. That's one thing. But the fact that they haven't fixed this glitch... Like, Toys for Bob, they moved on to Crash 4 to make to give that game so much content to the point where they'll flip they'll make mirror mode and all, you know, the what's it called, the inverted mode, and all these costumes and all this stuff, and they put like they and what they're gonna come out with Wumpa League, which was supposed to be like a I guess like a multiplayer feature to Crash 4 originally. But you're not gonna fix the glitch that's like probably been like the most like well-known glitch. Like I remember I do remember playing this when it first came out, and that Zephyr had a lot of problems. One of the big problems is the calyx getting stuck on that fence, and then it's preventing you from like finishing the level or whatever. But I don't know, gems falling through the level, that's just unacceptable for me. But we're just gonna skip that. Hopefully I can just find this damn gem. Oh, I got it! I already had the gem, but it didn't register. Spyro is in Crash's Shadow. Yeah, unfortunately, Spyro is in Crash's Shadow. At least we got to see Spyro in CTR. That's the last we really saw from him. But, okay, so I technically never used Sparks yet, because I actually did get that gem on my own. Alright, so we're just gonna get the hell out, because I don't know how that happened, but anyway, let's get back to Uncharted. Enough with the glitches that are distracting me here. Yeah, Uncharted, I love how it starts out the boat. I love the German U-boat you find in the middle of the jungle. Like, I love how Sully is this character that you're not sure where he stands, and that becomes kind of part of who he is always. I love the back and forth between Nate and Elena.
Well done, Spyro. Now
Elena is really one of my favorite female characters, I'd say, too, in video games. Definitely, like, top 5, probably. I think she makes a great companion to Nate. Alright, let's bring it on.
you'll have to jump down the hole in the floor to get to where Ripto and Gulp are waiting. I can help you out a little bit. I tamed some pterodactyls from Skelos Badlands. They'll be dropping in objects that you can use to fight Gulp.
Okay.
You'll have to jump down the hole in the floor to get to where Ripto and Gulp...
Okay. Now, did I get... I know I got all the talismans, but did I get all the... Because isn't there 2 speedways in this homeworld? So far I got the Icy Speedway, which I think is the one that's towards the end of Autumn Plains, which is where I am right now. But I think I didn't finish all... You know what? I want to get that... I want to make sure that I have the other speedway. But yeah, Uncharted 1, excellent. Probably out of the 3 PS3 games I've mentioned so far, it's definitely my favorite PS3 game. For this year, for 2007. But we're not done yet. We have one more game, and coincidentally, it's not a PS3 game. Just when you thought PS2 was in a slump, which it definitely was in 2006 for me, 2007 actually delivers something that's very special. And it's like it's kind of like the swan song for the PS2 for me. And that game...
Well
What?
done, Spyro.
What?
Now that you have all 14 talismans...
What just happened? Maybe later. What just happened? You saw that, right? I just got randomly warped back to over here. I'm just finding glitches here. This is just me showing what this game is capable of. It's just, at this point, it's not really even me playing the game, but whatever. I want to make sure I can get into this speedway. But yeah, okay, so this final game, it's PS2's swan song game for me. It's a game that came out, I think this is the same year when Halo 3 just came out. So, a lot of Xbox... What is going on?
Now that you
Okay.
have all
I'm just gonna fight Gulp because this is getting annoying me. Okay. Like, seriously, what is this glitch? I mean, I guess Allura used to be at the bottom of this speedway, so maybe there's something that's triggering. I don't know, but, well, you know what? Bring him on.
You'll have to jump down the hole in the floor to get to
Anyway,
where Ripto
what I was saying was, a lot of, like, Halo 3 was the big game for a lot of people in 2007, but the big game for PS2 that was kind of like, you know, they kind of, even though, like, Halo kind of was taking over and Xbox was kind of, like, on this really good high with the Xbox 360, this is kind of, like, the one moment where my friends were, like, kind of interested in what I was playing instead of me always being interested in what they're playing. And like it was kind of interesting that in the PS2's kind of last year for me, there was a game that really grabbed a lot of people's attention. And that game is God of War 2, which honestly, like, I can't, God of War was like as a series the first game came out in 2005, and the second game came out in 2007. This franchise just came out of nowhere at the end of the PS2 life cycle, and it turned a lot of heads.
We finally made Avalar ours. You've earned a special reward. Gulp, what is it, boy? Oh, the fairy. Here you go. Oh! You singed my cape! Dragon, you are really starting to get on my nerves! Say goodbye, flame breath! Nope! Lunchtime!
Gulp, one of the most memorable bosses in this game, I'd say. But yeah, what was I gonna say? Yeah, God of War 2, excellent. You know, it coming off of God of War 1, where they introduced the concept of Titans. And I think Titan mode is like the most difficult.
Finish him off, and you can have all the fairies you can eat. I'm going to enjoy this.
Didn't he already say that? But yeah, God of War 2. I love how it turns the story on its head, where in the first game Ares is the main villain, the main antagonist, and all of a sudden the gods start to turn on Kratos for becoming the new God of War, and Zeus is like your main guy that's like really the big bad. I love how they do that. I love how they introduce the concept of Titans. I love God of War because it's like a walk through Greek mythology. It kind of taught me Greek mythology in a way. I always knew about like minotaurs and stuff through Greek mythology in school, but I think God of War, out of any like source material, was kind of my introduction into the lore. And the game plays excellent. It's still like a lot of people knock the old God of War, the original God of War games, because it's more of like a arcadey hack and slash, but I think it's a great game is a great game, and it still plays great. These are great games, and there was so like the novelty too of just how gory it was, and like you're pulling like Cyclops' eyes out of their eye socket, and like you're doing all this like brutal stuff, and Kratos is such an asshole. And like I said, I mentioned 2005's, you know, when I mentioned God of War, he really is like one of the first anti-hero anti-hero protagonist that I ever played in a video game or any medium. So, yeah, for me, God of War 2 is my 2007 game of the year. For me, not only because it's a great game, but because it was a special game during a special time when I didn't have PS3 for a long time, and PS2, it felt like it was on its way out. I had to cling to a lot of my fan favorite games, but God of War, and especially God of War 2, kind of was that last original IP from David Jaffe that, and from Santa Monica Studio, that made me a fan, and it wasn't just because I was desperate to have a Sony first-party game, but it was a game that really engaged me, and it got my attention. I remember playing it at like my friends' houses and getting them to like they just enjoyed watching, but I also enjoyed watching. Sometimes, like, I remember I let my friend play the entire game, and I just watched him play, and he was having a blast. And it was just cool too to see like the Xbox 360 crowd get a lot of my friends who had Xboxes, and I was playing Halo a lot with them all the time. And for me to kind of like offer this like last kind of PS2 game where I'm like, hey, you know, check this out. This is actually kind of neat. This is not just neat. This is kind of badass and fun, and they all got a kick out of it. So it was a good time. Like, God of War 2 was a great game to end on, I think, for the PS2. And yeah, that's all I got to say about that. Let's take on this Gulp guy. Damn, got it wrong, but... So I'm guessing you thought I was going to pick the Simpsons game, right? Oh, I got turned around. Let me restart that because... Oh, I can't restart. Alright, whatever. I wanted to restart because I at some point I had to beat this guy. Oh, God. He's getting... Gulp always proves to be one of the more difficult bosses in this whole franchise, I'd say. I thought Uncharted. Okay, yeah. Honestly, 2007 was a good year. It definitely came down to those three. I'd say. I mean, it came down between Uncharted and God of War 2. Like the Simpsons game, I don't think. I think that was more of a second tier, and Call of Duty Call of Duty games just don't really register with me that much. But yeah, it was between Uncharted and God of War 2. The reason I chose God of War 2, not just because of what I already said, that it's a great game, it's a great sequel. It came during a special time. And plus, Uncharted wasn't really at its peak yet. Which is weird because I love the charm of Uncharted probably more than I did with God of War 2, but God of War 2 is still great. Like, I think I'm gonna get a skill point right now by shooting this rocket at Ripto. There we go. Might as well get that skill point while I still can. Now I just gotta stop getting hit by people. Yeah, my 2006... Like I said, 2006 was actually probably my least favorite year in games. Oh, I did that wrong. It's probably my least favorite year in games because the PS2 just was putting out, like, really just, you know, nothing to write home about titles. And but Resistance Full of Men was a great game. I just didn't get to play it until later on. And by the time it came out later on, there were kind of other games that I was more interested in, which was kind of a shame because I feel like I would have spent so much time with Resistance Full of Man's multiplayer if I had a PS3 earlier on. But there's other games that of the PS3 generation that will kind of be worthy of me putting a lot of hours into when it comes to multiplayer games, which I'm excited to talk about coming up. Alright, Gulp is almost down, almost down. This fight can be kind of hectic. I think this fight gives me the most trouble when it comes to getting, defeating him without getting hit. Because his green, like, laser stuff gets very, tricky to dodge. You kind of have to like, learn it a bit. It's almost like you have to run in a circle instead of running, full tilt in one direction. I also think you gotta be careful not to be too close when you charge that barrel into him, or else you might get some of the blowback and it might count as a hit against you. There you go. Hehe. Got him.
Spyro, you did it!
Whoa! Well, Laura, where'd you come from?
I was just outside the castle in Autumn Plains. The castle is now free again. There's no sign of Ripto. And since you've been around, the creatures of Avalar are finally starting to get along. Since you've done so much for Avalar, and since I know you've really missed being on vacation, we really wanted to do something nice for you. It's not much, but we hope you like it.
Oh, wow, this is great. Aren't you gonna join me?
No. I'd like to, but I've got to go check on the professor in the winter tundra. He's still trying to fix the super portal so we can send you home.
Oh, that sounds interesting. I think I'll just hang out here for a while and soak up a few rays. Uh-huh. Hey, where'd Laura go? I better follow her.
I always thought that was so silly how he falls asleep for 2 seconds and then he's like, oh wait, where'd Laura go? Like, it has to be part of the joke, but I don't know if they ever really, I don't know. Like, I always chalked it up as, like, just weird writing, but I don't know if it ever registered as a joke to me. But I don't know, I guess at this point I see the joke more.
I think I've finally come up with a way to access the Dragon Worlds from the Super Portal. This power crystal should give us the extra boost that we need. Just a few more calculations to set it up. I think I have it. Excellent. Everything is finally ready. We're going to need a lot more orbs, but with the power crystal boosting it, the Super Portal should work again.
Oh!
So, you thought you had gotten rid of me. Well, I'm afraid not. I persuaded that fat bear Moneybags to sell me a few bombs.
Quick, the power crystal!
Don't even try it, book boy, or you'll be the world's smartest pile of ashes. This is just what I need for a new scepter.
Hunter, do something, quick!
Hey! Give that back! Well, I tried.
You little fools! After I destroy you all with my new scepter, I'm going to rename this place Riptonia!
Damn. I noticed that they gave Hunter a little bit more action when he tries to stop Ripto by making him like lunge at him, but in the original PS1 version he's just like, hey, give that back. I kind of miss the original version where he's just more pathetic. I feel like Toys for Bob felt compelled to like make him a little heroic, but I don't know. I feel like it would have been more ballsy if they like stuck to their guns and just made him a pussycat. Now here's the thing. I want to go back and get that Speedway thing, but I'm here now, so I guess I'll do what I can of the homeworld next time. Just to recap though, like I always do, my game of the years. 1995 was Twisted Metal. 1996 was Crash Bandicoot. 1997 was Crash Bandicoot 2 Cortex Strikes Back. 1998 was Spyro the Dragon. 1999 Crash Team Racing. 2000 was Spyro You're the Dragon. 2001 is Jak and Daxter the Precursor Legacy. 2002 is Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4. 2003 is The Simpsons Hidden Run. 2004 is Killzone. 2005 is Area 51. 2006 is Resistance: The Fall of Man, or Fall of Man. And 2007 is God of War 2. Not a bad bunch, I'd say. Not a bad bunch. I suppose I'll talk to Elora before we leave.
Spyro, Ripto's still alive, and he's locked us out of the castle. Even worse, he's stolen our new power crystal for the super portal. Spyro, keep collecting those orbs. We can't send you to Dragon Shores until you have enough. Not only will the orbs help power the super portal, but they'll help you break into the castle.
I love how they use Dragon Shore as like a carrot on a stick to keep me to help them more. Like, can't they just like be up like straight with me? Like, can't they just trust that I want to help them, and you know, because it's for the what's good and what's right? But they keep being like, oh, you can't go on vacation until you help us. Like, just be straight with me. I'll help. Alright, well, I guess I feel bad because the glitches kind of held us up here in this episode, but I think this is a good stopping place nonetheless. Next time I'll take on Winter Tundra, and I guess for now, anyone out there, if you want to like, comment, and subscribe to Kev Plays on YouTube, it's greatly appreciated. Or if you want to subscribe to me on Twitter at Let's Watch Series, that's a good thing. That's, you know, where you can kind of get updates on when I've posted a new Kev Plays. You can do that, or you know, follow me on Huts123 on PlayStation if you want. Other than that, stay healthy, stay safe. Keep a clear head, and keep on gaming. I'll catch you next time. Thank you, Pelpapig. Nice talking to you. Have a good one. I'll see you next time. Peace.